Ahom Shina Bunk and Tushina Shavawaki. Shinama Kikiran, it's I Shavakiran, it's I'm a Kikiran.
Christmas and a new government to you woke liberals. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Radowski here of thebestpoliticalshow.com, and we are going to be going live for the next 2 hours discussing all the latest and craziest news right now, as of course there never is a shortage of things to talk about, especially in the end of 2024, which has been an absolutely crazy year, as we just got the news that U.S. fighter jets were shot down over the Red Sea. What's going on there? As things are also heating up in Ukraine, as a lot of people expect that situation to boil over, as now CIA docs are claiming that life existed on Mars. Are they lying? Well, we're going to look into that, as Trump now is threatening to take control of the Panama Canal and Greenland, as the fake news is reeling, failing, and absolutely being totally obliterated. We got a lot more Trump surprise announcements, as well as the Mangione effect that we're going to be talking about here on this independent media broadcast. We can't thank you guys enough for being with me for over 20 plus years on this independent media journey. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively sharing, getting these videos out there, and it means a lot to us. So we try to return the favor through LukeUnfiltered.com, our members area where you get the ability to call in, and you even get a special broadcast right after this one where we ask our guest their most controversial opinion. This new segment is absolutely awesome. It's ridiculous. It's super fun. First-time callers also get a free supplement from wearechange.shop. We've got a lot of great stuff for you guys there, as well as a range day. We're doing a very cool range day February 1st, just exclusively for members. During the duration of today's conversation, we are going to try to read any and all super chats, but of course we will be prioritizing mysuperchats.com. The link is down in the description below. We're still doing a legal fundraiser for my lawyers on savelukenow.com. Hopefully that situation gets cleared up soon, but anyway, we are still going to be working our butt off for you. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure doing these shows. And again, I'm actually just shocked at how many people are viewing these shows, how many people are participating. And the more people that view, the more amazing guests we have here. We got a really amazing guest here today, Jarek Tadla, here in the house today. He's an entrepreneur. He's a businessman. Patrick Bet-David forced him to be on social media. I'm very happy he did. I like your presence online. You're also a local Miamian. Jarek, for the people who don't know you, who are you and how would you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Jarek Tadla. I'm real estate mogul, and I'm also getting social media with mental health, awareness.
Yeah, everything you say, specifically when it comes to like not drinking, taking care of yourself, all that stuff is very rare for a fellow Polish man.
Yes.
yes. I don't like to drink booze either, and everyone in Poland thinks I'm like sick or like something's wrong with me or have some kind of it's just not fun to drink all the time. And I think the culture that I saw a little bit from what you're promoting is a good culture. So it's great to have you here, and it's going to be an awesome conversation. A part of the conversation might be fully in Polish. We fully apologize for our viewing audience in the future, as Tatiana Moroz is also here, another fellow proud Polish woman.
Hello, everybody. Tatiana Moroz, singer-songwriter here. Excited to be hanging. We've now outnumbered the other people now. Just if you like my stuff, go to Queen Tatiana on Twitter.
Martha, how does it feel to be a Hispanic in the room in Miami, just absolutely surrounded, not by Hispanics, but now by Polish people?
I love that the shoe finally is on the other foot, Luke.
Yes.
I mean, I constantly speak Spanish around you, so I guess it's my turn to suffer.
We're constantly just for Martha, we're going to speak in Polish for 10 minutes, so she knows how it's going to feel when every time she's around her Spanish people and she's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. So you're
going
to know.
You're later, though.
You've been doing it all day, though.
Yeah.
You guys have been speaking Polish. It's fine. I will manage.
Yes.
It's okay.
Now retribution and payback is going to come. It's going to be fun. We're going to
Mira,
enjoy
Luke.
it.
Okay.
All right. Always great to have you here, Martha. She's the co-host of the show. She does a great job. Always appreciative of her, even though she just kind of sneaks in here. We don't know. It's a surprise. It's a good surprise all the time. As Stephanie is also here, she is full of energy, well rested, and ready to take over the conversation. Right, Steph?
Yes. Exactly. That's exactly what's going on, you guys. This is Steph of We Are Change, and I've got my little antlers on.
You don't have lights on yours, though.
It's okay.
My
We need
lights are
lights.
broken. I'm sad because I wanted the color, but
Oh,
well.
no. Mine are super cute. Look at
Look,
that.
where
Look at
are
that.
ours? We
Yeah.
never got ours.
Yeah, we don't have ours.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. I think they're somewhere over there.
Only
but-
for the girls.
So I think it's fitting that we were able to, have
Make us
only
wear
the
it?
have only the women wear it. But let's get into it. There's so much things to talk about, especially the end of the Biden administration. That looks like it's ending with a bang. There's a lot of things that they're doing with foreign policy that's very peculiar. There's a lot of things they're doing also now with domestic policy, as we just got the news that the Biden administration is withdrawing its student loan forgiveness plan. This is according to CNBC, as a lot of people on the left, a lot of liberals that were promised student loan forgiveness aren't happy. I think everyone else who has a very high tax bill is really happy with this news, as I already know a bunch of people that got their debt eliminated. And, you don't have this for private enterprise. You don't have this for private business. And you're only fueling a system, an institution of learning in the United States that takes advantage of the people because of the large subsidies surrounding it. And now we're going to subsidize it even more. This is just absolutely ridiculous, as this is going to cost the taxpayer a lot of money. But luckily, it ended. And with that, hopefully there's going to be a lot more other Biden programs and socialistic programs that are going to hopefully end soon. How do you guys feel about this?
I mean, nobody's gonna go. I'll go. I'm surprised. Why? There's no reason for Biden to do this now. He's literally on his way out. He's not gonna run for office again. There's no reason for him to do this. I don't know. It seems shady. I'd like to see it actually happen, but who knows?
He's pardoning a whole bunch of crazy people too, a whole bunch of really violent, awful criminals.
Okay. He's commuting their sentence.
I'm talking
Luke.
about the cash for kids judge.
Oh, yeah, that
being
guy.
one of many. But I think we're going to expect a lot more kind of very egregious maneuvers made by Joe Biden, because I think Joe Biden doesn't give a damn anymore. I think he doesn't care
Is
anymore.
he the one even
Yeah.
there? Like, we're talking like
true.
as if he's the one doing this.
Yeah.
I doubt Biden even like knows.
So you think it's Jill? She's just got an axe to
Yeah.
grind.
Yeah.
I mean, it's somebody.
I think Puppet Biden is, and his handlers are just going to go for broke. I think what we saw with Hunter Biden, with his pardon, shows everyone that he doesn't care about his reputation. He doesn't care about his legacy. He might not even be
What
there
legacy?
himself.
What
Yeah, that's-
reputation? It's only a bad reputation.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true.
you know. I mean, yeah, he's terrible. He's been a terrible president. He's possibly a terrible person. I don't know. And so, what legacy? Yeah, if I was in that position and I had nothing to lose, I'd be pardoning all the criminals too. I mean, clearly.
But why the criminals specifically? Like, what justification could anyone have for the cash for kids guy?
Clearly, so that he doesn't have anything coming back. I mean, the whole Biden thing.
There's
whole
probably
Hunter
some
thing.
cash. He
Yeah.
probably has a lot of cash, since he
Yeah.
got a lot of cash from putting all those kids in jail. And he's probably going to give a kickback to one of the Biden family members. Let's just be honest here. That's how a lot of these pardons work. There's a lot of deals made underneath the table saying, hey, let my friend go, and he's going to support you, or he's going to protect you in the future. And that's
Bingo.
how the
I think
deals.
that's what it was.
and I
It's
think-
protecting him in
yeah.
the future.
Yeah, and I think that's how the deals are made. Like, hey, I know this guy. This guy's in my pocket. I control this guy. I'm influenced with this guy. You pardon me. You let me go, and I'm forever going to be in debt, and I'm going to be working for you in the future.
And I
So-
won't say what you did, because honestly, I think that there's so much more to this. And there's probably some other shady stuff happening, and you eliminate a witness by pardoning them.
Yeah, that's true. Yarek, how has your time been under the Biden administration, and are you happy to see it go? If you can't just bring up the microphone a little bit closer.
I have a lot of like a low income apartment, so what happens definitely helped my tenants. To grow my business was a little bit harder. Like 2024 was one of the hardest years for any entrepreneurs, but we survived. We're here.
Yes.
So I can't wait for 25.
Me too.
And really, in my bubble, we just like 2024 was one of the worst year ever.
Yes.
Because of the fear in the election, and finally, I'm so glad we.
Yeah, there was a lot of instability. There was a lot of uncertainties. There was a lot of unknowns, because if Kamala Harris would have been the president of the United States, those same really horrible financial problems and situations, I think, would have been kind of exacerbated. Now, there was a very interesting conversation at AmpFest, and I kind of wanted to get your perspective, where Cenk Uygur was hanging out with Charlie Kirk, and this was after we just had a conversation with Charlie Kirk, but Cenk Uygur proposed that there should be a ban on BlackRock being able to buy up real estate in the United States. and Charlie Kirk agreed. I was there with other kind of libertarian principles. What's that guy that always shows up to Porkfest? I can't believe I'm blanking his name. He's going to be Jeffrey Tucker. I was with Jeffrey Tucker. Jeffrey Tucker's like, he was so offended. He was like, I can't believe they proposed this. What do you think of this kind of larger proposition that some people say is a populist move? Other people say it's a kind of uncapitalistic move.
You know, any monopoly is not good for you. But I got to tell you, having the fear and try to even protect it, that's when, you know, we bring the awareness. So I think even just talking about it was a huge move.
Yeah, I agree. Because a lot of people...
You know, it's not good in any business.
And they have the monopoly mainly because of the government. So I think the right approach would be, hey, stop financing and funding this private enterprise that is gobbling up everything and creating a kind of communistic situation. And that's what I tried to, that's what I would kind of argue against Jeffrey Tucker, that was kind of demolished and not really happy about this kind of latest perspective and news. But at the same time, we're not living under a fully capitalistic system. You know, we don't have capitalism. We have winners and losers that are chosen by the state, that are chosen by the government. It should be the consumer that comes in there and says, yes, this company does good. I want to support this company. I will buy from this company. But it's not. It's the federal government coming in saying, we're going to give you all the money. We're going to give you all the stocks. We're going to give you all the loans. 0% interest loans. Everybody else doesn't get 0% interest loans. We get screwed over. We get footed with the bill, and then there's no real competition, which doesn't breed any success. It breeds a lot of these horrible companies that are like parasites on our system that just take and take and take and take away and don't really offer any kind of value to the American people. But I think Trump, whether you like him or not, represents someone that is going to change that system tremendously. So I'm super excited about that. Are there any specific policies or implementations that Trump will implement, economic programs that you're excited about personally?
Well, you know, like I'm in real estate, so he's a different real estate guy. So definitely, like
if you can, but you can move that mic too.
Okay, so I'm definitely excited about that. But if it comes to the, you know, the competition that is created by the 0% loans and all the stuff, even though my business is pretty big, but I'm still like an average Joe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard to compete with somebody who have no payments.
Yep.
You know, we people like that want to get in real estate. Like I'm a big real estate mogul and I believe in real estate, you know, so if you want to get rich, real estate. It's a lot of hard competitions. So definitely it's amazing thing that, you know, we have a change the system and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, now, one of the things that I brought up during my conversation on Timcast on the main kind of stage with AmFest was that I think there's going to be a lot of underhanded tricks against Donald Trump in 2025. I think the Federal Reserve, he's not the closest friends with, I think they're going to do some dirty tricks. I think we're going to see potentially a lot of people are predicting a housing market crash, specifically in Florida. I don't know if you're seeing the rumblings of that, but I do think Trump is going to try to free the economy, get rid of taxes, get rid of regulations, get rid of some of the unfair practices. I think what he's promising to do with Doge, with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, looking into the government, looking into all the waste and not wasting our money is brilliant and absolutely important. But a lot of the people who are dependent on that money, a lot of the people who get those 0% interest loans, a lot of the people who take advantage of our corrupted system, I think they're going to try to strike back at Trump economically. I think there's going to be some major problems ahead. I don't know if you're seeing it because you're in the financial world more than I am, but a lot of people are saying there's going to be a lot of financial pressures within the real estate market, specifically in Florida. Would you agree?
Absolutely not. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. Right now, we just putting we're done with the election, we're putting more fear. The market is not going anywhere. You know, I've been in real estate forever, and it's everybody, 2008, when the market's going to crash, when the market's going to crash. You know what? The best time to buy real estate is always today.
Yeah.
And, you know, just do not listen. Like in a business, in anything, just don't listen to these voices. Just be able to eliminate and do your own thing.
Yep.
And just putting the fear, it's just ridiculous. Like we go from one fear to another. Like how long is this going to last?
And if the market does crash, it's the perfect time to purchase.
Yeah.
That's where everybody made money in 2008. When the market crashed, people went in and bought property.
That's how I made my money. So, but at the same thing in 2020, you know, in the COVID, and it's always, there's always something, and you got to be in the game, and you cannot stop.
Prepare to purchase property, people. If that's the case and it crashes, let's go.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? So one of the things that I guess added to a surplus in more condos, making the market a little bit less favorable, from what I understand, is after the building fell, they put these requirements that were too hard for people to basically meet. So if you're an old person and now your building has to have extra insurance and they have to do all these kind of reinforcements, a lot of these elderly people, they couldn't afford the increases to the HOA and the special assessments. I heard that the assessments are actually going to be, or rather they're going to basically loosen it up, make it a little bit less difficult, which will lead to people being able to stay in their homes. And therefore, basically, until Trump gets in, a real estate friend of mine, he was saying, buy now because in a couple months, the prices are going to go up. Do you think that's accurate?
No.
So you think that there's not going to be that rollback?
No, because what happened is if you want to invest in real estate, I would tell you stay away from condos.
Oh, okay.
Because you want to buy single family or multifamily or commercial real estate. You don't want to stay in the condos because the value of the condo is if the homeowner association is mismanaging, and then you not only you impacted by the market, by what the economy is doing, but also by somebody in really next door that somebody doesn't and is mismanaged, and your condo there's worth $1 million because of the assessment, overnight can become 100,000.
Yep.
So I like my advice always to everybody for the last 31 years in business, stay away from condos.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw the news in the Miami Herald, I think it was a week ago, that said that more buildings have started to sink more than what it was anticipated, especially around the Surfside area. So at least in Florida, stay away from condos because what happens when your building starts sinking? The fees, the special assessments just go through the roof. You can't control
Plus,
it.
the responsibility is not on you. It's on somebody else that mismanages it. And as we've seen here in South Florida, there's a lot of mismanaging. There's a lot of horrible decisions that you can't make. Someone else makes for you, and then you're just kind of given the bill, being like, yeah, here it is. Anyway, HOAs are also communistic organizations that are absolutely vapid and evil, and I believe have been a creation of Satan. Just my own personal opinion. But other than that, if you like living under the boot of communism, go live under an HOA.
I have an HOA. It's delightful.
No.
Tatiana loves it.
I hate it.
You don't.
I have a lot
I
of
don't know
problems.
anybody who loves it. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I live in a house where there's no HOA, where I have barely any neighbors because I hate living like that. I pay extra to live far away from other humans.
Well, the problem is that all the single family homes, even remotely close to here, are super expensive for like a
Agreed.
shack right now. And
Yes.
because I'm constantly looking because I'd like to get a home at some point. But
You're going to
it
have to
seems-
give up the location. You got to give up something.
I'm coming to Kendall.
Yeah, come to Kendall. We've got, it's not downtown. I don't have your views, but it's amazing. And I don't have that many neighbors. And
Your
I don't
house
have an
is
HOA.
amazing. I love your house. And you have a collection of very nice chickens.
Thank you.
That I have sang to
that
before.
she has sang to. Yes, she did sing to my chickens, and they loved it. Surprisingly.
Yeah, there's also something. There's
How
also
dare
something
you.
about living on top of other
Not
people.
about you.
And living above you and living below you. There's something like energetically weird about it. With so many people, so much energy just
All the
compacted in one
Wi-Fi.
particular place, and
And
all
that
the
becomes
signals.
your bubble.
Yes.
And then really, because you have to kind of hide, you got to kind of, those people become suddenly your bubble. And we live already in the bubble. I mean, not people that trying to sell social media and, podcasts and stuff like that. We just want to open the borders almost for everything. I have a different perspective. But then you kind of judge just in a community, your own community. You know what I mean? And right now, the world is so open, it's globally open. And then when you live in a small community, you are being judged.
Exactly.
Wait, I have a question. Do you think that Poland is a good place for getting real estate? Because I think it's really booming right now.
You know what? I would say definitely yes.
Okay, I would say so too.
There's a lot of brain drain in Poland, though.
She's
There's a
asking me
lot
the
of young
questions
people.
because
Yeah.
I built over there too,
Yeah.
so, it's, so
Well,
I cannot go against my own beliefs.
Well, I've been to Poland often, and as we were talking before the show, Poland has really improved. I mean, when I would go, it was, post-communism times, it was really beat up, and now it's one of the most cosmopolitan places in Europe. Everybody's flocking there. A lot of the banking businesses and international businesses are coming to Poland because they have such a good workforce. And
no terrorist attacks. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I wonder why we have no terrorist attacks at all. There was a map of all the terrorist attacks all throughout Europe, and then Poland is just all empty. No
And
red
it's
dots.
enormously clean.
Yeah.
I mean, if like I go
Super
to
clean.
Poland
Y'all
a
are
lot.
selling Poland
And
hard.
no, because
I'll
what happened
take
is
you
when
there.
when
Yeah,
you
let's go. I'm down to buy real estate in Poland. Is it still cheap?
No.
Are we still on the ground floor?
No.
compared
Nope.
to
Nope.
compared to American standards, though, it's still
comparing to
inexpensive.
Miami, it's a little bit cheaper.
Okay,
Yeah.
what's a little bit cheaper?
Well, Warsaw is almost as expensive as here.
So my mom is selling
all right.
a condo.
And I don't speak the language.
My mom is selling a condo in a very posh area. I think it's a 2-bedroom in like a complex in a really, really nice area in Wilanów. I think it's like 500K, something like that, with a garden in the back.
Oof. You're not selling it really well.
I
That's
don't know. I
expensive.
don't think it's so bad.
That is expensive. That's Miami prices.
Yeah, there's a
No,
lot
it
of
isn't.
foreign
For our
investment. There's a lot of foreign investment in Poland too, from the Koreas, from the China, from the Chinese as well. So Poland is expanding, is growing. I am worried about a lot of the young people leaving, but I am hearing that a lot of the young people are staying now more than ever, because it used to be that you're in Poland, there's not a lot of economic opportunities, there's a lot of kind of taxes. The latest kind of government changes aren't too good, especially with the new president. Personally, I kind of don't like it myself. But overall, when it comes to safety, when it comes to family, when it comes to overall life and well-being and cleanliness and lack of crime and schooling, it's, Poland is one of the, there's a lot of jokes about Polish people, but Polish people are some of the most high IQ people in the world. And
humble he is.
Two of them sitting here, right here.
Yes,
Three of us.
yes. Take notes, Martha. All right. You don't have that in
Excuse me.
Cuba.
No,
all right?
you're right.
Yeah.
We don't have it in Cuba, but you guys are here in Miami, which is American/Cuban ground. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what we're talking about with real estate, I think, is important, because I think it's also important in the larger culture war. Because if you look at a lot of the leftists, a lot of the Democrats, a lot of the communists, they hate private ownership. They hate you having your own piece of land. They hate having your own piece of freedom. You have działkas in Poland, where everyone has their little farmland. They grow their own food. They're independent. They're outside of the state. The state cannot have that. The state wants you in those little communist blocks, like you do see in Poland a lot, but they want you in your little pods, and that's exactly what they want. They don't want you owning a home. They don't want you having something worth of value that you could actually have a family in. They want you divided. They want you in small individual locations where, of course, you are separated, but of course jam-packed with all these different people from all these different kind of identities. And I think, Polish people, we recognize our identity matters. Our culture matters. Our people matter. And that's why I think Poland hasn't been conquered like a lot of the other European nations have been conquered, have been destroyed, have been taken over, and have been implementing soft forms of globalism and communism in ways that are absolutely undermining human rights. That's the basic core value of this that I would actually link with real estate. Now, Jarek, I don't know if I'm being too extra here or extrapolating too much, but I think there's an argument to make for this.
You know what? I'm gonna touch on this one. It's funny that we both came here 31 years ago, and it's like it's like the biggest patriots are always living outside the United States. It's easy to say, but that's how hard we were screwed through their life.
Yeah.
Our generations, from generation to generations, and yet we're here and we still talk about it. And even like the way you talk, and just with all the energy, it just brings me like yeah, we're doing right.
Yeah, we have to, because what happened in Poland under communism slowly was happening here. Now, thank goodness Donald Trump won the election, but if Kamala Harris would have won, we would have been on a fast, way to a larger kind of Chinese cultural revolution, where a lot of the private property owners were attacked, were vilified, were literally put on stage and tortured in front of everyone for the enjoyment of, the bourgeoisie. It was absolutely incredible to see so many parallels that my family always warned about. My family was saying everything that happened in Poland was slowly happening here in the United States. All the kind of deep state kind of maneuvers, all the kind of secret police, all this kind of political prosecution of your ideas. All of that happened under communism. Martha knows about it. Yep. She's, from Cuba and from Venezuela. You've seen it firsthand. And I think that's why, you make such a good co-host, because we're in line on a lot of these core values and principles
Because we hate
of
the
freedom.
commies.
Yes.
And yes, I agree. The stuff that we were seeing, I mean, just the stuff on social media, just how they were silencing us, or how they told people to go out into the streets and give up your neighbor who wasn't wearing a mask back in 2020. I absolutely agree with you, Luke. I think that we were definitely on a path that is just terrible here in America. I agree. I'm thrilled that Donald Trump won. I'm just, I'm a little bit like Tatiana. I'm a little, I want to see it happen, because we're going to go to some news about Panama, and already he's showing just a tad bit too much authoritarianism, tyrannical government for my liking. But maybe it's just
Well,
me.
I think he's joking. I think he's
I don't think he's joking.
I don't think he's joking
He's not
either.
going to send a military force to Greenland. All right, we'll talk about Greenland. We'll talk about Panama. He's talking about invading Canada, which personally, again, I'm anti-interventionalist. But if anyone is asking to be invaded, it's Canada, and they kind of deserve it. Personally.
God. I just want to know if he's Fidel Castro's son or not. That's all I want to know. Is Justin Trudeau Fidel Castro's son? Because they darn look alike.
But what happened here in America, I think, matters. And I think this is why we're seeing a shift in Canada, even themselves, as they're moving a little bit more to the right. Justin Trudeau is involved in a lot of political scandals. A lot of people are saying he's going to step down soon. Good. Get rid of him. As the next election, a lot of people are predicting that specifically the Canadians are going to vote for a right-wing political figure.
They need their own Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what happens. That's
Or
what
Ron
happened
Paul.
here too. Or Ron Paul. Yeah, definitely Ron Paul.
Let's vote with that
Let's go
direction.
better. I don't think Canada has a Ron Paul, though. I mean, America barely has a Ron Paul. We only have one. No, but I agree. I think that, if it wasn't so terrible these past 4 years, we wouldn't be in this position now. It needed to get really bad for people to be like, I'm not taking my chances with that woman. So hopefully it's been really bad in Canada. Well, I don't mean that. Like, not hopefully, but it's been bad enough that people are like, yeah, we don't really want these policies anymore and are moving in the opposite direction. I could be wrong.
It's going to be interesting because there are a lot of people that were inspired by Ron Paul, inspired by all the liberty, freedom-oriented individuals that are now standing for these ideas and implementing them. So Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, Tulsi Gabbard, all these individuals that are working and coalescing with Ron Paul now as we speak does set the foundation for a lot of more of these freedom ideas, not only to be talked about, but implemented. So I'm super excited. I'm super white-pilled, but I also expect a lot of problems. And I think right now the Biden administration is creating a lot of it, so Trump won't be able to implement his agenda. He won't be able to smoothly have a transitional government, as there's a lot of other things at stake here that I think are worth talking about, especially when it comes to foreign policy, which we're going to get into in just a little bit. Before we do, Steph, we also have some super chats we should get into. Steph, can you read off some of the super chats that we have now?
Luke says foreigners can't buy land in Poland. It's law.
I think that's true, right? Sorry, Martha. You're not welcome.
Well, that's
Well,
fine.
me,
couldn't
can
afford
you
it
tell
anyway.
us? Is that true?
I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, in Mexico, you can't buy land as an American citizen, but you could buy it as a business. So if you're a business in Mexico, even if you're an American citizen, you could then buy property. So that could be also the particular case in Poland as well, since there is a lot of foreign investment. And I would bet that that's probably what's
There's
kind
a lot
happening
of
here.
foreigners that live there. I mean, and that appear to be buying property. I wouldn't take that to the bank, but I'd be curious. Where did you find that out, Luke, online?
No, that's a super chat.
Yeah, I know.
It's yeah.
Isn't his name Luke as
Yeah,
well?
his name's Luke. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, if you could answer that, we'd be curious because I had never heard that before.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to find out.
Steph, keep going.
Red Viking says $5 for Atlas to get a piece of biltong.
No, Atlas has her own treats. Atlas has the positive treats. We'll give her one of those.
Why can't you have the
pull that up.
biltong?
Biltong has
Give her
pepper
salt.
and
Oh,
salt, and
okay.
pepper and salt isn't good for dogs. So
Gotcha.
you should not give your dogs pepper and salt.
Misha tolerates it very well.
Land of Biltong, great though, great product. I love it. High protein, meat based diet. We'll tell you about them in a little bit. We also got 2 more super chats as I find the positive dog treats with beef liver to give to Atlas now. Steph, take it away.
Red Viking says all mics low except Luke's. It's loud.
I think I fixed that, but everyone else just
Testing,
speak close.
1, 2.
I've just learned to
Okay,
speak
1, 2.
very close into the mic, so
Luke likes to make out with the mic. He's like, "Meh."
I'm lonely. I'm lonely and desperate this holiday season, so I got to get it where I can.
And
From the
then-
microphone.
And then we got Matt saying, "Love you, Luke. Keep supporting freedom. Be careful you don't turn into one of those people that rush to defend Orange Man no matter what he does. All authority."
That's why we have Tatiana here.
No, Tatiana's just the black pillar. As you've seen from my own personal record, we criticize everyone. We don't worship anyone or pedestalize anyone. And I think my record through the first Trump administration proved myself to be right, since Donald Trump even agreed with my own personal criticisms of him that at the time I got criticism by the Trump supporters for. So you're welcome. And don't worry about that, Matt. It's totally fine. It'll be totally cool. We got some positive dog treats. We got Atlas. Atlas up.
All
Atlas, speak.
authoritarianism must
Speak.
be called out
Speak.
publicly.
Good job. All right, we got another super chat.
I can't read this one
Why not?
because it's in Polish.
Oh, I could have read it, but my eyesight is.
See, go around and
I'm
Come
not gonna
read
go
it.
around. I don't want to go
It says, Muzis me sik polik doag kupai zimi.
Can you just text it to her? Can
Just
you
text-
just please text it to her?
I think you gotta buy a house. You gotta buy me a house. I think that's what
I
it
did
says.
it good, right?
Musisz mi kupić dom. I think that's what it says,
Ooh.
right?
Oh, maybe something. I can't-
I don't know. I don't see it. What is it?
Tatiana, go over there. Go over there. And
Musi mek polski doag kipai zimi. Dom.
Steph speaks
All right.
Polish. Wow, that's really great.
Great.
I'm practicing.
Steph,
for those
send it over to
pierogies.
Tatiana really quick, and then
Text it to Tatiana,
we'll just text it to her personally. Just take a photo of it, and then we'll read it off in the next iteration when we come back to it. Since of course we get a lot of super chats, and we're going to do our best to read all of them. Sometimes we can't. We're going to make sure Tatiana's going to read that one in a little bit here. As of course, let's talk about foreign policy, because that's another important story that I think is important to harp about and talk about, as we just had the breaking news that U.S. fighter jets were shot down over the Red Sea in a very embarrassing act for the Pentagon, as of course this was American military near the Red Sea, specifically in Yemen, where there are a lot of operations happening right now with naval pilots that allegedly were shot down over a friendly fire incident. Now, is this really friendly fire? What's really going on here? I don't know, but there is a long war against the Houthi rebels inside of Yemen. And there's a possibility that we could not be told the truth of what's really going on here, as I am personally a little suspicious about the overwhelming amount of U.S. military action that has been happening at the end of Biden's administration, almost as if they're trying to finagle something, almost as if they're trying to pull something off here, as the United States government and military doesn't have the best track record when it comes to, of course, being honest with the American people, as we have another article here from Natural News describing how the United States has more than doubled its troops inside of Syria, hiding its expansion for a year. Syria, that was just overthrown, according to many international sources, through the help of U.S. intel agencies that played a major role in this, as it definitely does look like a lot of the wars are being sparked up, a lot of the wars are being started, and a lot of people argue they are being increased in size in order to make it more difficult for Donald Trump to stop. As today we found out that there were also a major drone attack by the Ukrainians against the Russians, as Donald Trump has called for an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine. And it definitely does look like the Biden administration and the Ukrainians are doing the exact opposite of that, as we have the U.S. Secretary of State literally arguing to send 18-year-olds from Ukraine into the war, a war that a lot of people expect to be over. There's a lot of underhanded behavior, a lot of underhanded moves being made right now. And I don't know about you guys, but I personally worry that a lot of these moves are being made in order to stop a larger kind of Donald Trump peace plan that he's been working at for a very long time. I don't know what you guys think about this, but to me, a lot of this is kind of very shadowy, very secretive. We don't even know about our operations right now. We never voted for operations in Yemen. We never voted for troops in Syria. We never voted for larger escalations in Ukraine. But yet we're doing it as soon as Trump is about to take office. A lot of this just doesn't add up unless you think something sinister is going on here. And that's exactly what I think is going on here. What do you guys think?
No. Well, first of all, we haven't voted for war or to do any of this since the end of World War II. So yeah, I don't think they care that we aren't voting for it. I just want to say I don't have any comments on this because honestly, it's overwhelming, right? We don't get to vote on it. We don't exactly know what's going on. We aren't being told anything. All we're hearing is just how the U.S. is escalating. But I do want to say that the two pilots that were in that plane made it out, one with minor injuries. So at least there's that.
Yes, at least no personnel of U.S. military was lost, but also whenever there's these clandestine missions and operations, if there is life loss, a lot of the times we don't hear about it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the sources that we're getting from the Pentagon, from the corporate media, they usually just lie. So I'm just worried that they're up to a lot of other lies that's going to create a very difficult situation for Donald Trump to kind of come in there and to kind of untangle this woven mess of foreign policy that the Biden administration created. Now, I was at an impasse with Matt Gaetz and Charlie Kirk recently at the AmFest event, since they were talking about the kind of failed leadership, the failed military leadership under Joe Biden, and I said no. They didn't really fail because the U.S. military always kind of fails. Look at what happened in Afghanistan. Look what happened in Iraq. Look at what happened inside of Libya. Look what happened inside of Syria. It is a failed initiative, but it's a failed initiative for the local populations there. It's a failed initiative for us. It's a failed initiative for everyone footing the bill. But when you look at the larger operations that happen behind the scenes with human trafficking, with drug trafficking, that happen in between all of these things, it's a larger success for all the black budgets and all the secret stuff that they do behind the scenes. So this is something that I think is incredibly important to play up to, since I personally believe there's going to be larger escalations, more shenanigans, and more unfair practices and policies done to undermine Donald Trump geopolitically more than ever in between now and January 20th. I'm expecting a lot of crazy stuff. I don't know about you guys.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff. And I don't know that Trump is the man that can solve this. The first time around, he was lied to by his own military, and he didn't know how to handle it. So, I mean, I'm concerned that not only that they're doing it now, but that they're going to do it once Trump is in office, and he won't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
I just don't think, I don't see it. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Trump learned his lesson. I hope he has good advisors this time around. But
Yeah. Well, Trump has admitted he was lied to. Trump has admitted he had bad people in his office in 2016. These were my critiques of him. I was like, why is this bad person in there? He's not going to get the truth here. He's not going to be told what's really going on here. And that's exactly what happened. And that's something that I think is absolutely a fair critique to make here. But I think Martha, I think he learned his lesson. I think Tatiana would be a little bit more pessimistic on that particular kind of comment. But Tatiana, do you agree or disagree with me in my assessment here?
I think that, you know what, I'm gonna turn over a new leaf. I'm gonna be optimistic.
Oh, wow.
That
wow,
Trump,
is this Tatiana we having?
Listen, I'm just giving the people what they want,
What?
man.
No.
I'm gonna
Tatiana,
play the
what they
game.
want.
Don't do that, Tatiana. Don't ever
Give
do that.
it to them,
This is not what
Tati.
we want, Tatiana. We want you to be genuine. We want you to be honest. We don't want you to pander to the crowd
She
here. please.
genuinely
tell you
wanted
why.
to be positive today, you
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
Give her the
Finally.
Like the
chance.
treats.
I'll tell
She
you
wants to
why.
be positive.
I'll tell you why. I saw Jeffrey Tucker on at AmFest. I liked how he talked about Roger Ver, which we should certainly touch on. And you know what? He was very optimistic. And I wrote to a friend of mine who's also quote unquote black pilled, just because we don't believe in the government. All of a sudden we're black pilled. Anyway, and she and I were talking about it, and we decided that perhaps there's a slight chance that something optimistic will happen. We're going to keep our fingers crossed. And obviously, I don't think that's going to happen. But whatever. Let's.
But
see
you're
what-
open. You're open to the possibilities to see.
Look at that face. Do you think that's a face of open to possibilities?
Yes,
Yours.
yes,
Yours.
yes, yes.
I want it on you. Stop putting the camera on me. I'm thrilled that you are coming around. I'm just really upset that we can spend all this time in the studio together, and you just like text a friend, and she's like, "Hey, I'm optimistic," and you're like, "Yeah,
no,
me too."
I'm like arguing with you for like hours and
They
hours.
were
We're like,
not.
Tatiana, you gotta look at this
Frustrated.
and you gotta like this and look at this video.
No, it was Jeffrey
And,
Tucker's optimism, because it was too many people around me started drinking the Kool-Aid, and I'm either
It's not
being
Kool-Aid.
gaslit.
It's the
Oh,
truth.
give me a break.
It's
It's
the
not
truth.
the truth. Fine,
We're
I
not,
admit it.
we're
It's the
not
truth.
Jeffrey Tucker. That's all she's trying to say, is that we're just not Jeffrey Tucker. And
Well,
you know
he has
what?
such a happy way about him when he's enthusiastic. I can't help but be infected by the joy.
It's
Do you
okay,
know Jeffrey
Tatiana.
Tucker? Well, we'll send you some Jeffrey Tucker stuff.
No, thank you.
He's like, nah,
it's
I'm
fine,
good.
Tatiana. It's okay. I will accept I'm not Jeffrey Tucker, and I could not get you to this point. But I'm happy you're here.
Yeah, Tatiana, we accept your apology and your acquiescence and you
No.
bending the knee and fully putting on the red MAGA hat and joining, the freedom movement. Welcome, Tatiana.
Listen,
Great to
he
have you.
got my vote. I feel like that's enough. Okay, I've done my part. I would like to hope that the world will be filled with less war next year. His drone bombing background is not exactly encouraging, but let's say he learned something. He seems like a person who really learns from his mistakes and is very humble about it. No ego there at all.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now, Yarek, just to kind of bring it to you with this larger
Don't
kind of
put me on
financial
the spot.
conversation.
Don't
I'm not
put me
going
on
to
the
put you on the spot, but
You're
I wanted
on the spot.
you're on the
Welcome
show.
to the
You're on
show.
spot.
The shit show is about to happen.
but with foreign wars and conflict, it usually means a lot of trouble for the international markets. And I think under Joe Biden, we have seen a lot of instability, a lot of really horrible things that have happened with his foreign policy that created a lot of very unfair market conditions. I think Trump, if he's able to institute peace, is going to stabilize the markets and help the markets thrive with less, battles for resources. I think there's a way to untangle this mess and allow a lot of free flow of capital to actually come in here. Because when you look at a lot of the kind of sanctions, you look at a lot of the economic restrictions, you look at the larger kind of insidious trap between China and the United States. This does bring up a larger problem since America is so dependent on China and China is so dependent on America. And I think if you look at the larger war in Ukraine and in Iran and in Syria, China does play a role with it as well as Russia. And I think that does kind of mean a lot of larger signals for the international markets. Do you agree?
You know what? I got to tell you, I'm going to take a little bit even level deeper. Like when we talk about ourselves, we got to just be selfish. And this time, United States got to be selfish. We got to take care of, from ourselves. We got to fix all the battle within us. Like, we get involved in everything and we got to stop. We got so many issues here. And, even like you guys talking about Canada or Mexico, I think we got to combine like all this, Europe combine like a union. If we combine Canada and Mexico, going all together, it's going to be huge. You know what I mean? But we really got to get the bottles from, inside the United States and solve the problem from within, not start solving everybody, the world problem. I know it's a global economy. I get that. But we got to start from us.
Yes. Trump's also propositioning getting rid of the income tax and replacing it with tariffs and essentially allowing Americans to live tax-free if they purchase and buy American-made goods and manufacturing. I think that's a very revolutionary plan. It's obviously going to be very difficult to kind of build and start up. But if he's able to implement this plan, which he's been talking about, I think that's huge. I think that's going to be amazing. Would you be in favor of getting rid of the income tax in exchange for tariffs?
Wow, you're putting me on the spot, brother. Why are you doing this stuff?
I want to know what you think. You're a businessman. You're an entrepreneur. You're very successful. Obviously, it's going to affect you too. So I was just kind of wondering.
What I mean is, when you own so many businesses and you real estate, the income tax is not a big issue because you have so many depreciations.
Yes.
The tariffs are also hurting us, but I'm definitely about the income taxes to reducing them. I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
Especially because we want to have the people, especially even the little businesses, have more money so they can employ more and they can put more stuff in the economy. And that's the more we spend, the more we turn the money around, and that's how I look at it.
The more we're able to keep our own money, the more we're actually able to grow with that money.
Yes.
The more that, because taxation, this is my viewpoint of it, is a form of not just slavery, but it's a form of keeping people down. Because the government prints money out of thin air. They borrow money all the time. We're in a deficit. We're in $35 trillion of debt. There's no way of paying it back. The interest of that is huge. And this is a huge problem that we're dealing with. And the more that the government takes away from us, the more they stop us from being able to fix this problem by making it a bigger problem. So that's what I'm most excited about, is this ability. Because, again, I dealt with a lot of adversity this year, especially with the IRS. The IRS went very heavy after us, very heavy-handed action against us this year. But even though I'm dealing with a huge problem, I'm so optimistic about the future because I finally could see a pathway where private business and enterprise is allowed to be successful here in America.
That's exactly. That's what that's it's gonna help. It's gonna help the little guys, and little guys, and everybody's gonna grow. And I think that's the biggest thing that's going to help us.
Absolutely.
I have a question for you guys. We've got $35 trillion debt, and they get rid of the income tax. How are they supposed to pay anything back? If they where are they going to get the money from it? As is, they're overspending and they're going into more and more debt every year. If they get rid of the income tax, where is the proposed money to pay back the debts?
Tariffs.
But also, your taxes don't actually pay for that debt. Your taxes actually don't
But
cover
I mean, they
it.
don't have any money coming in then other than tariffs.
Sure they do. They've got tons of money coming in.
From where?
from property taxes, from all this, like this is still
from
coming.
gas taxes.
think
There's a
the property
tax
There's
on
taxes
everything.
on everything we buy.
Sales
There's
tax.
taxes still on everything we buy.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be curious how much income tax makes up the income of the government, because I can't imagine that it's like
Well,
less than, I don't know,
I don't
30
think
or
they
40%.
need all that money. They've been draining us. They've been charging us all sorts, and you're punishing people being successful, which actually is the opposite of what you want. If you want something, you want more of something, you don't tax it. You leave it alone.
Exactly.
So taxing our income actually hurts all Americans. I mean, not being able to take home everything you make, taking part of what you earn is like Luke said, it's slavery. How much of your labor does the United States government own? And so right there, that's a huge problem for me. But on top of that, they have this infinite amount of money. They can just tax us however much they want. And then they're doing horrible things with it. It's not like they're solving our problem. It's not like, go outside. Our roads aren't fixed. Our stuff isn't done. We don't have infrastructure. We're using the money to fight wars in foreign countries. Honestly, they don't deserve it. Once they show
Well,
us
they've
a
never
bad
deserved
budget,
And we're
it,
just growing
obviously.
government. And the government's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right,
And
but the
they-
government
they-
doesn't want to shrink itself. It doesn't want to take its
which
hand
is
out of
all
our
the more
pockets.
reason to get rid of something so that they have to shrink themselves because they no longer have that coming in. I think it's fantastic.
I
I mean,
don't think that
try
it's
to
very
let-
likely. Like, I don't see the incentive as a government, particularly, other than the obvious things. Like, they have their hands in your pocket already. They don't care about getting in trouble. They don't really care, obviously, what happens to the nation. So why should they start giving back money? I'll be
They're
surprised.
not going to give back money. That's my point. We, the citizens, need to stop giving them money.
How?
Well, first thing is if they remove that income tax.
Right. If they,
You have to be
then
out of
we.
the system. You have to be out of the system.
Also,
I'm
You have
just
to
saying,
stop
I'll be surprised
relying
if
on
they
it.
don't if
with,
they don't charge
with
us income
tariffs,
tax.
you can just stop buying from outside of the U.S., buy more local, and then you don't pay anything, and that you have control over that. As opposed to now, which if you make money, you are forced to pay, and you don't have a way out. And if you don't, they will come to your house with big guns and possibly put you in a cage.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I just don't see them
Which we're fighting
eliminating the
against
income
now.
tax.
Personally,
I'd like them
yeah.
to, obviously.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want them to get rid of the income tax? I just don't see it happening.
But they're saying
I hope
that
I'm
it's gonna
pleasantly
happen, right?
surprised.
More black pills from Tatiana.
And they're
of
called
course-
reality
yeah.
pills.
But
I don't know
wait,
about that.
they're saying it's going to happen, right?
Yeah. They're saying all sorts of things. Give me a break, man.
I mean, Trump is talking about it. That's the first step. This is the first time in my lifetime
still
that I've
talking about
heard, that I've ever heard a U.S. politician that is in that type of position saying, I'm going to do this thing
Yeah,
and remove
yeah,
it.
that's
so at
special.
least that right there, hopefully people are watching it and are like, hey, what happens if this, at least it's moving that Overton window a little bit over. Because before people would be like, no, we have to have taxation. All right, cool. We're at least talking about
Really?
less.
Who says that?
All sorts
That's
of people.
fair. Okay, I'll take that.
We'll see. Okay, we still have other Rumble rants and mysuperchats.com. Let's make sure we're paying attention to those,
Oh.
so everyone's getting their best bang for their buck.
By the way, I have the translation for you.
Yep.
Apparently, the person that wrote in said that you have to have a Polish passport or citizenship in order to buy land, or a house or anything.
Well, it looks like I won't be buying any land in Poland anytime soon.
Martha will sneak her way in there. She'll get on some kind of raft and get in there eventually. As of course, let's get into this next story, which I think is very interesting in light of all the drone news that we've been hearing from New Jersey and the East Coast of the United States. As we have this one from the Daily Mail that reads, CIA doc claims life did not exist on Mars, and it was a population of very large people, Nephilim, who built pyramids. Yes, this is the latest from alleged astral projections that happened from a report from the Mars exploration in May 22nd, 1984, which details are now emerging that this was the actual case here. For me, a lot of this is very suspicious, especially with all the drone news, especially with all the fear, with all the panic that has been caused by the federal government. We have decided to create our own t-shirt addressing this by making a t-shirt that says, I used to believe in aliens before the government told me to, that you could get exclusively on thebestpoliticalshirts.com.
I like that.
A little cheap plug here, but it's a great shirt, as of course there are a lot of weird kind of underhanded things happening right now with a lot of people within the government saying, aliens, UFOs, look at those things. A lot of really kind of interesting disclosures, a lot of very interesting kind of admissions here that a lot of people who used to be conspiracy theorists were talking about. And now we're having the government talk about this. They're talking about astral projections. We're getting CIA documents released now. Why now is something that I personally ask myself. Martha, you looked into this story yourself.
I love this stuff, Luke.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've been waiting to talk about this since forever. So first of all, I just want to say that now that the government's telling me that this is actually true, I think this is definitely a psyop of some kind. I never believe them. I don't think that they are real, legit, will tell us the truth. So clearly I think there's something behind it. But yeah, I was reading it, and it's actually really interesting. It was a document from, what did I say, 1980, 1970 something.
Why are we hearing about it now? Why is
because
it being
they need
released
to talk
now?
about it now and tell you that all these drones are somehow, of course we've known aliens have existed for the last 40 plus years. So anyways, the CIA document is about their astral projection and, what that person saw when they were astral projecting onto Mars 1 million years ago.
Yes, and they do a lot of weird, crazy kind of experiments, to say the least, especially when it comes to DMT trips, especially when it comes to kind of psychedelics, as the intel agencies do have a long history of this. I'm just kind of questioning the larger motives for these disclosures now, as Donald Trump is also promising a lot of disclosures. The drone story, we still don't have any answers for it. And I think as, someone in America, I want to know what's happening here. I want to know what's going on here. And when you look at the government's response to all of this, it is creating fear. It is creating panic. It's creating confusion. A lot of people in New Jersey don't know what's going on, and they're seeing these flames.
Par for the course
Yes.
in New Jersey.
Well, that is, dirty Jersey people, Tatiana.
As a former New Jersey resident, I can assure you that New Jersey is like half dead over there.
They are a confused sort of population as well. They love their Democrats as well. But truly, I think what we're seeing, especially in the corporate media and their coverage of all of this, it has been absolutely unfair. It has been absolutely unproductive. And I think we still have a lot of questions left here to what actually is going on here. Will we actually find out? I don't know. But one thing that is clear is that the corporate media is losing a lot of legitimacy. A lot of the old corporate heads like Don Lemon are even being called out in person when it comes to a lot of the kind of propaganda that they're putting out there. And one of the biggest kind of psyops that Charlie Kirk recently brought up at AmpFest was specifically that there's an important media narrative right now that's trying to divide Donald Trump and Elon Musk from each other. You see the kind of articles that talk about how Elon Musk is overstaying his welcome, how Elon Musk is the next president. You saw Donald Trump address this during his speech at AmpFest recently, saying, no, Elon Musk isn't the president. He can't be the president. He's not even an American citizen. But he's bringing it up because the corporate media is making this more of a conversation, saying, hey, this Elon guy's too powerful. I think Elon has overall, you could criticize him on some things, been a huge net positive for the American people. He has allowed people to have free speech, and a lot of the propaganda efforts against him aren't even working anymore. As we have this segment from Don Lemon that we're going to play here that was absolutely riveting and highlights how a lot of people aren't falling for the propaganda anymore.
Who is the real president-elect, do you think?
Donald Trump won, I believe.
Democratic lawmakers in Washington are calling Elon Musk President Musk now, and they're saying Donald Trump is the vice president or the head of communications.
What's? Wait a second. No one said that.
Really? Have you not watched and paid attention to the news?
Absolutely not. I'm paying attention to what I'm doing during my day so I can try and get a better life and get ahead.
Okay, do you have your phone with you?
I do.
Why don't you Google right now?
Yes, tell me.
President Musk and see what comes up.
No. But that's already a loaded question, you realize.
Tell me, give me the sources.
Axios, Business Insider.
Oh.
We don't trust
Keep
any
going,
of these. The
keep
common
going,
man doesn't
keep
trust
going,
any of this.
keep going.
ABC News,
Oh,
Washington
keep
Post,
going.
New York Times,
Oh.
The Atlantic.
Oh!
I don't trust any of these.
Oh!
I don't trust any of them.
Okay.
I don't trust any of these. We're the common man. We don't trust any of these. No one trusts the government. No one trusts the
That guy's
common
good.
news. We don't trust any of that anymore.
Well,
Independent news, we are the
Not
ones that
anymore.
own the news now. People trust me. They don't trust MSNBC because I care and I'm actually one of them.
Can't disagree with you.
Okay.
Because I
Well then.
I get a lot of people coming to me saying, I only watch you.
saying.
I don't watch corporate media anymore.
Right.
You were the corporate media, and now you're regurgitating the corporate media to average citizens, and the average citizens aren't falling for it. Good. No one wants your lies. No one wants your propaganda. No one wants to be pandered. No one wants to be treated like a little baby that doesn't have discernment or critical thinking. I think because of Elon Musk, we have moved forward in a way where communication in this country is so much more freer, so much more authentic, so much more real, and so much more incredible that a lot of people are going on Twitter and getting their news there and not MSNBC that continues to suffer ratings slump. As of course, the people aren't viewing their propaganda anymore. They're not watching them anymore. And good. I see this as an amazing larger cultural revolution that's happening right now that is absolutely worth celebrating. That clip with Don Lemon, epic. That guy spoke some real important truths here that a lot of the corporate media doesn't want to acknowledge.
Absolutely. Not only did he speak to truth, but I'm a little concerned about this whole Elon Musk, Donald Trump thing. I feel like the media is trying to play this because they know that Donald Trump is, he's a narcissist and he doesn't like this. And so by calling him President Musk, they're trying to like put that wedge between Donald Trump and Elon.
Artificially.
And I think, yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I think that this is terrible for the American people. So I'm so glad that the quote average man, that guy was fantastic. Somebody needs to buy him a beer. Definitely, that guy was spot on. Nobody believes him. And stop calling him President Musk. He's not the president. He's going to head up Doge and he's going to do other things. And he's kind of busy. It's almost like he has a few companies to be running. Like, stop it already. It's ridiculous.
Well, he spends a lot of time on Twitter just like randomly hanging out for a guy who's very busy. I think he spends a lot more time on there than I do, and I don't have many businesses to run the way that he does.
I feel like he probably has somebody tweeting on his behalf.
I don't
feel
know.
like no,
I
you
think
don't
it's
think
him.
so?
Nope. From my sources, they do see this larger effort trying to undermine him, and it actually is having the opposite effect. And it's bringing Elon and Trump together, and Trump isn't buying a lot of the propaganda. He's not allowing the media to manipulate him because the media did manipulate him in 2016. And you did see an element of Trump trying to be liked by the corporate media, trying to be liked by the corporate establishment. He's not falling for it anymore. And I think this kind of, bromance that we're seeing between Elon and Trump is an important one, as of course Elon represents a lot of private businesses and enterprises that have been personally attacked by the Biden administration with regulations, with investigations that have personally went after him. And now he has a seat at the table and he's able to say, hey, this is how government is weaponized. This is how government is inefficient. This is how it doesn't work for the average businessman. And more than ever, I'm super, super excited about him having a seat at the table and him being able to, of course, create the discourse, as the stuff that he talks about, we have never heard about in the corporate media. And I think there's a reason why a lot of the topics that he's bringing up, especially when it comes to the Epstein list, when it comes to overregulation, when it comes to bringing up all the horrible things in our society that are finally being exposed, that would have never been exposed if it wasn't for Elon actually starting it as a conversation. I think it's a net positive. What do you guys think?
I want to know, if Elon's going to look into this government spending on his businesses and his subsidies when he's analyzing it with Doge. Because, from what I understand, most of his business is from the government and the DOD. So is he going to look at those subsidies? Or that's why I find it kind of disingenuous for him to be doing the reviews.
I agree with you. You know what? I don't think anybody would disagree with that. I mean, Elon Musk makes a lot of money off of the government. Right?
I feel like he should acknowledge that a little bit more instead of just
he's
pretending.
Going to throw himself under the bus.
I'm just saying, come on, dude. He's like, I'm going to be in charge of investigating all the people getting money. Just not my companies. They're cool. Trust me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? If he shrinks the government, I'm not saying I'm okay with corruption, but, I'd rather he shrinks the government.
Well, we do have to live in reality.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Yannick, what do you think?
Instead of payment, we'll let him have government money.
Yeah, Elon Musk as an entrepreneur and now someone a part of the kind of Trump administration, what do you think of his role?
I think it's finally we have somebody that can have a clue and idea how to run companies, but he's going to run into the problem, with the government. But he's got a lot of connections because, like you said, a lot of his companies are funded by government.
Right.
But I think he's got a deeper understanding than anybody else because of the experience. Like not PhD professor or somebody else who doesn't have any experience. He really does.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to have a lot of help with that.
Yeah.
But it can go from one extreme to another.
Of course. Elon Musk got in trouble for not hiring immigrants at his spaceship company, when the government prevented him from hiring immigrants because of the secret kind of technology that they're using as well. So, you know, having someone who has been thoroughly gone after with all the rules and regulations, who's going to be unwinding them, sure, some of them are going to work in his favor, but I think overwhelmingly they're going to unwind a lot of the red tape, a lot of the bureaucracy, a lot of the kind of rules that don't benefit the average American. So I'm personally excited about that. And I think if there's anyone who deserves a seat at the table, it's Elon Musk. Let's just be real with each other. Again, we could be critical of someone with some of his practices, but I think when you examine the fruits that he has provided, the fruits of his labor, I think they're all kind of pretty good. Some of them are a little suspicious. Most of them are pretty amazing, pretty good, and I see this as a net positive and a net benefit to everyone, especially the role that all of us are having on Twitter, setting the discourse that the administration is actually looking into and responding to and acting on. You never had that before, and you could only have that on a free speech platform because Facebook censors those conversations. YouTube censors those conversations, limits it. On Twitter, we're able to talk about anything and everything that we want. We didn't have that before.
Yep. And I hope that Elon brings that Twitter vibe to the U.S. government. And you know what? Like we were just saying, it's not that, again, I'm not okay with him being corrupt, but honestly, if he shrinks the government, I mean, he's not going to do 70%. I will be black-pilled enough to, but even a little bit, even if he shrinks it a little bit,
He will do a lot. Watch.
I hope so.
He will do a lot.
You think so?
A lot.
Why do
He
you
will
think
shrink
that?
a lot. Because it's like the process is so difficult to get anything. Even to run like business, like for me, to run a permit, I have to wait like 2 years. And and then all those people are being hired, and something sits on somebody else's desk. We have like staff that go through the hundreds of people. That 1 or 2 people can do it, but everybody's on salary. Everybody gets paid, and it comes from the tax money. It has to stop. Like, and he understands. He's a businessman, and he understands that. I mean, he's gonna run to and out of issues trying to eliminate that. It's not gonna be easy, but between both of them, I think I mean, it's. The bromance that we need that, but also we need kind of like disagree and agree.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think more than ever, we have those disagreements on Twitter. I think you have criticism, you have pushback, you have individuals that are willing to actually address issues and start conversations that we would never have anywhere else. Because if you look at the Biden administration, they controlled conversations, they controlled speech, and they limited it. They destroyed independent content creators. They destroyed independent journalists from bringing up issues like the Hunter Biden laptop story, for bringing up issues like the origins of the virus that came out of the Wuhan laboratory. They destroyed legitimate conversations that could have saved lives that now are allowed to happen. And I truly do believe Donald Trump would have not been elected if it wasn't for Elon Musk. And I would make that argument, and I will stand behind that argument. And I think Donald Trump realizes that, and he's going to return the favor by giving him a seat at the table. And I would rather him be there than Bill Gates. I'd rather him be there than Mark Zuckerberg. I'd rather him be there than all these other people that were just kind of bending the knee and censoring free speech.
I mean,
that's the issue.
We've had Soros. We've had people like, oh gosh, what's the vaccine dude?
Fauci.
No, the other one, the one that also
Bill Gates.
Speaking to the mic, guys.
Thank you. Yes, Bill Gates. We've had all these people at the table in government. So yeah, I'll take an Elon Musk. At least Elon Musk isn't out there like hurting people.
Yeah, Bill Gates is involved in government, but he does it. But he does it in a very secretive way. He does it
Just
in
like
a very
Soros.
behind-the-scenes way. Yes, he does it in a way where we don't hear about him. He doesn't declare it. He doesn't talk about it. Elon Musk is at least talking about it. He's being transparent. He's being seen. He's taking the photos. He's showing up at events. Bill Gates just secretly gives all of his money. George Soros just secretly gives all of his money, implements policies that way. But now we're doing it in a way where we actually get to see the policies, see the maneuvers, see the decisions being made, and then those decisions being criticized by everyone on Twitter that can't get censored, because if they do, everyone's going to freak out about it. There's even a little bit of censorship. People freak out on Twitter saying, what is this? How dare you censor this person representing this view? And on Twitter, whether you like it or not, the viewpoints that are on there are absolutely wild sometimes. They're absolutely crazy. But I would prefer that over the kind of sanitized, controlled conversation that we have had in this country for the last 4 years that actually destroyed free speech and freedom and personal liberty. Anyway, before we move over towards a free speech platform, because again, this platform still is censorious, still doesn't allow us to freely talk about what we want to talk about. Before we move over, we want to tell you about a private business and enterprise in Texas that does a lot of really incredible, awesome things. And that, of course, is landofbiltong.com. This is a high-protein, meat-based diet alternative than, of course, all the beef jerky, done in a holistic, natural way that I personally like. I love going to the gym. After I come back from the gym, I always make sure I have some Wagyu. It is an excellent source of protein. Martha is chewing on some right now, and it's something that I really like.
Thanks for throwing me under the bus, Luke.
Everyone can
It's
hear
delicious.
you. Everyone can hear you chewing.
All right, sorry, guys.
But anyway,
delicious. I'm
Land of
hungry.
Biltong supports a lot of independent media. I like their products. I use their products. I think you will too. Landofbiltong.com. It's a family-friendly snack, low in carbs, packed with protein, making Biltong the ultimate health snack. Biltong is a great source of iron and also serves as several other essential nutrients, including magnesium, potassium, and B vitamins, which translates into exceptional gains in all aspects of life. Steph?
If you follow any high protein meat based diet, keto diet, you should definitely check it out. If you've never tried Biltong, today is the day that you can try it. Use code WRC, free shipping, and WRC10 if you get more than $45.95, and that's going to give you a 10% off the purchase as well.
Yeah, go check them out. Great stocking stuffers, great product. I love it. It's not filled with all the crap that all the beef jerky at the gas station is filled with. It's really something that's super clean, super good. Landofbiltong.com. The website will be in the description. Now we are officially going to move over towards a free speech platform, thebestpoliticalshow.com. We are still looking for a caller. That caller could be you if you sign up to lookunfiltered.com. But Yarek, before we move over to another platform, where can people find out more information about you? Where can they support your work?
Okay, the most you can find me on Instagram, Yarek Tadla, or at YouTube, my YouTube channel, Yarek Tadla as well. My first, my last name.
We have your YouTube channel linked right under this YouTube channel, so go check him out. Go subscribe to his channel and see everything that he does in the world of entrepreneurship and business enterprise. Tatiana, where can people find out more information about you?
They can go to TatianaMoroz.com and you can hear my music anywhere where music is available, from Spotify to iTunes, Amazon, everything. I also would like to encourage everybody. You're also invited, Yarek. You get the Polish discount, which is free. Thecounterparty.com. We're having an event January 25th and 26th here in Miami Beach. Our focus is basically everything except for government to make your life better. So we have wellness, we have peaceful parenting stuff, we have homeschooling, we've got permaculture, we've got security, we've got privacy, we've got art and music, and we encourage people to make love and not war. At thecounterparty.com, get your tickets now. And there's actually a code WRC20 for people that are listeners to this show, and the secret club members, they also get a discount too. So keep an eye out for that.
Awesome. Martha?
You can find me on X and on Instagram at Bueno for Miami.
Steph?
I love dominating conversations. This is Steph, WRC on X.
You talk way too much, Steph.
Way
too much.
Way too much.
We still have a bunch of super chats. My super chats, we'll get into those in a little bit. And again, we're still looking for a caller from a member of LukeUnfiltered.com. You could be that caller. Sign up right now. And the conversation officially now moves over to thebestpoliticalshow.com. Go there right now. The conversation continues for another hour as we have this crazy clip from what looks like a leftist